One of my favorite features of this park is the railroad bridge going over the trail. Once in a while, like today, you have a train stopped on the bridge. That's a really cool photo opportunity. This bridge was built in 1930 when the Missouri Pacific realigned their tracks in the area to this area. It is now owned by the Union Pacific and sees pretty frequent use, especially for its age. So here's a sign at the parking lot that tells you where all the trails are at. So 2.5 miles to my right is where Glencoe is. The Al Foster technically ends here because that's where the old Missouri Pacific alignment curved into downtown Sherman, or Jedburg, whatever you want to call it. And then to my left is a different trail called Stinging Nettle Trail. It's about 2.5 to 3 miles to Glencoe. I haven't explored that part of the Al Foster yet. I've explored pretty much all the rest of it. So I might do that today, because it's not that far. Now if you walk down the trail from where I was at, you can actually kind of see it from here. You get this really cool angle of the train cars. The tree is unfortunately blocking the angle, but you can see a great view of the bridge. It's not very ornate, it's just a couple girders, but it's still really cool looking. You can also see how big it is from here too. If you walk closer to the bridge from here, you get a really cool angle of the inside the bridge. And the feet of the bridge too. That's what they're called. I don't know the technical name. Oh, train's moving. That is so cool. So to get to the sandbar that's over here, you follow this trail off the main trail. There's another access point further down the trail, but it doesn't lead to anything. It just leads to the river. And there's the sandbar. There's plenty of people on it right now because it's 80 degrees in late March. It's a rarity. And there it is. There's the access. From the sandbar you can get a nice angle of the bridge. One I didn't think was here. Very peaceful too. For those who aren't familiar with the area, this is the Merrimack River. It's usually not this low, so it's a treat to get this close to it. This is such a beautiful spot. I'll let you listen to it for a little bit. Underneath the trail is this neat stone culvert. Now it looks a lot different during the wintertime when there isn't so much overgrowth here, but it's still something really cool to check out. The trail is literally right above it, and there's a skinny path that leads down here. Now when I last came here 2 years ago, it looked a lot different. I almost didn't recognize it. The vines weren't there and there's a lot more graffiti inside. I don't know an easier way to get inside it anymore. When I was last here, you could easily just walk down into it, but right now it looks a little bit too steep. Maybe it's just from where I'm at, because when I came here last time I came from the opposite direction. May have just found a spot that's easy enough to get down here. Yeah, there's the culvert right there. Yeah, that should be easy enough if I just keep jumping around. So you follow the trail down. It will lead to a little crossing over the creek. And then up here. And then this leads to a trail over here to the culvert. I was just doing it wrong. That's why I didn't recognize it. Because I went this way last time. Alright. It might be shallow enough. I can just walk in it. I don't know. Not gonna risk it. I'll go up here instead. But from here you can kind of get the gist of it. Of what it looks like. If you want to, you could probably walk into it, but I don't want to do it. I'm not wearing the correct shoes for this. What's cool about the trail is this neat rock formation that towers above the trail. It's kind of like the Al Foster and Glencoe, where you have those big rock formations. Unfortunately for this one, you'll have to either step on the edge of the trail and look up, or step a little bit off the trail like I am. Because it's so tall, it's hard to see from the trail itself. The rock formations continue all the way down for at least half a mile. Unfortunately, it's very overgrown. You can't really look at them. But you can see a little bit peering through the trees. There is a house right in front of it. And it looks like one of them put a flagpole up there. So I guess they're privately owned now. Let's see, you have one there. You have one over here. All of them have their own unique shape. It's really cool. And then you have these two over here. Here are the, I guess, last two rock formations. I can't see if there's any others further down. They're really cool. Here's another flagpole. There's definitely a house in front of that one too. Looking back at the rock formations, you can definitely see a house up there. Makes you wonder how many of the houses were there before this became a trail and was still a railroad. Walking over the trail, I noticed this creek and some stone underneath the trail, so I decided to take a look, and I came across this nice culvert. Now, the other side of the culvert is private property, and it's marked as such in several spots. This side is part of the park, so you're fine. There's probably a date stamp in the center, but because it's so overgrown, you can't see it. So I have no idea how old this thing is. It's probably been here since the trail was the railroad. It was probably built by the railroad. And if that's the case, it's really old, like 1850s old. Getting down to the culvert is pretty easy. You have to walk down this somewhat steep trail to the creek. I recommend taking a lot of precaution because I almost fell. Getting back up was a little hard. I used both hands to get up. I'm not sure there is an easier way. To get down to this spot, I just walked/ran down the embankment here. There is a little bit of a beaten path on that side over there, but it's kind of tricky. You have to hold on to some trees on the way up. I think this is one of my favorite sections of the Al Foster. So beautiful and peaceful. As I'm walking down the trail, I noticed this huge chunk of a building. Makes me wonder where it came from, because whatever it came from was a huge building. As we're approaching Glencoe, there'll be two more rock formations above the trail. These are a bit more farther back than the ones in Sherman. This is a really cool culvert that they built when they were building the trail. It's all concrete, so it's not an older one like the two actually, before. This is kind of like the marker for Glencoe. Once you reach this, you're pretty much in Glencoe. Something cool that's outside the park is this 1930 culvert over St. Paul Road. As you can see, it has some lettering on it. That's from the Missouri Pacific Railroad, and they just preserved it over the years. This side's a lot better than the last side. It's really cool looking.